Alright, so part one of a very short character creation tutorial for the Pathfinder system. It's kind of like D&D 3.5 or 3.75 because it has a lot of the same workings of 3.5 but is a little bit better refined. So anyway, first of all, when you make a character, you're going to need a character sheet. So first step, I would say, is figure out a name for your character. I decided to make a level 1, almost like Viking character here, just as an example. So just work out your basic details. I made him, of course, male. I decided on human, not orc or elven or anything. An age, weight, things like that. They're not quite as important, but they're fun to think about because it may give you an idea of who your character is. Some of the details aren't overly important depending on your GM and the game, but alignment isn't something you have to worry about, but you can read about those in the actual core rulebook if they interest you. Just good, neutral, evil, things like that. But anyway, moving ahead, just get your basic details like age, weight, things like that if they matter to you. At the very least, get your character's name, level. I'm going to start at level 1, so this is going to be really easy to show, and race. That's all you really need to figure out at this point. All the rest is just kind of there as an example. So, first things first, actually I won't take that away, your ability scores right up here. That determines everything your character is able to do. How strong they are, how well they move, how well they can take a hit. Their intelligence is basically overall knowledge. Wisdom is more like innate skill, but you'll kind of see that here in a little bit. And charisma is how well they affect other people, and sometimes how well they cast spells if they're like a sorcerer. So I will set those aside temporarily. So what you need are D6s. Now, for those of you that have never played before, a D6 is just a standard die, like you roll for any other game. But for Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons and things, they tend to have this version, and each die is called a D, and then whatever numbers it has. And these have 6 sides, so they're a D6. To roll for your characters depends on your GM. I always make my players roll 4d6. To make heroic level characters, people with a little bit better abilities, I make them re-roll 1s and 2s when they roll them. So let's just roll and see what we get. Okay, so that's a good roll right away. So you have 6, 10, 14, and then drop the lowest one. So with that 14, I'll just write that off to the side here. Just like that. I didn't really think about my camera placement here. Okay, so there are 6 ability scores, and depending on your GM, they may have you roll 6 times, they may have you roll 7 times, and then they'll have you usually write them off to the side here, like each time you roll, and then assign them where you want them. So, let me do that real quick here. Roll. Alright, no 2s, so that's 5, 8, 11. Do this a few more times. So that's 5, 8, 12, reroll 1s and 2s. Yeah, that's still higher. So, yeah, 12. 3 more times. Let's do this quick here. There's a 1. 6, nice. So that's 15. And you can look in your book. There are different rules for different styles of rolling, and whoever's running your game may have you roll your character a little differently. So there's another 15, and just 1 more as an example. So it's 5, 9, 13. Okay, so I have these off to the side here, and I can assign them any way I want. So I'll just do that real quick as an example. Okay. So, I decided to assign them in the order of 15, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Now, if you roll something like this, don't worry too much about it. A normal person's score, like normal person on the street, NPC status, is generally about a score of 8. So this is a pretty beefy character, all things considered, and I kind of like that for heroic characters for players anyway. So, with each of these, the only thing you have to know right away, real easy rule, is 10 is 0 ability modifiers. That means like it's 10, so there's no plus, there's no minus. 8 is a -1, 12 is a +1, and it goes off of every 2. So 11 would be 0, because it's just after 10. The next number up doesn't count. It stays, every other even number goes up by 1. So 12 is a +1, 13 is just above 12, so it's a +1, 14 is the next, so +2, +2, +2. So don't worry about that rule, just remember 10 plus 0, 11 plus 0, 12 plus 1, 13 plus 1, and so on and so forth. So if you have an 18 ability score on any of these, you should have a +4 over here. That's your ability score, and that's your ability modifier. Keep track of that. So, at this point, all you really have to worry about is rolling those stats for these characters, and that's it. I'll move on to class selection and all that in the next little video.